Welcome back, everybody. Brand new Cabral concept. Today, we're going to be talking about anti-fragility and how I believe it may just hold the key to improving your happiness and your overall personal growth. I learned about this years ago when I started to work with clients. I was studying psychology. I wanted to know more about it. I also wanted to understand why I worked with many successful people as a nutritionist and first as a personal trainer, then started to move into integrative health, naturopathy, functional medicine, etc. But some people, no matter how successful they were, they always seemed to be happy. And there were others, no matter how successful they were, didn't seem to be happy. And then there was kind of people, they had good days and bad days, they didn't really know why. And when I started to look at this, again, just as an observer, saying all of these people are just so much more successful, not just financially, but the jobs, the careers, the relationships. I mean, I'm a 22-year-old kid right out of college and just trying to understand how the world worked. And that was literally it. And the nice thing is I got an education, a real world education, not just my college education, at looking at people, successful people across all walks of life, different jobs, different careers, different paths, people doing nonprofit, for-profit, etc. And I started to also not just look at their success in career and other factors, body transformation, relationships, etc., but also their psychology. And the interesting thing is years later, and I'll give credit, of course, where credit's due in terms of cognitive behavioral science and behavioral psychology and essentially therapies that we can all go through to improve our life. I'm going to share one big one here today. But it re-jogged my memory when I was reviewing, studying, reading Tal Ben-Shahir's work on happy no matter what. Now, I'll talk about that more in our Friday review. But it's interesting because this theory of anti-fragility, not even a theory, because I'm going to share how it works in the real world, actually improves our overall happiness. So let's dive right in. So when you think about it, my previous field, fitness, exercise, body transformation. What did I want to do? I wanted to help people transform their body. And in the beginning, 18 years old, I started in college. What did I want us to help people with? First, diet and exercise, right? That's where it starts. So I tried to get them moving their body at least 3 days a week. That was the minimum. Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, once or twice with me, a couple times on their own, right? Trying to get them to be held accountable. It's interesting. What happens though? Well, for many systems in the world, when you apply stress or pressure, think of like an elastic band. So you stretch the elastic, you let it go, what happens? It returns to its normal form. Interesting, right? So that's one system. But there's another system that happens in nature and that happens with we humans. When we lift weights, our bodies get stronger. Our nervous system adapts, and as needed, our muscles can grow. That allows them to do what? Well, the next time they encounter a heavier weight or more tension, they're able to keep up with their tension and to grow with it, not necessarily fall under its pressure. Another one that I look at, and I think that this is like maybe equally as fascinating, whenever we work with our hands, they can start to get calloused. And it's not just people who lift weights. It could be manual labor, gardeners, a florist. Anyone that's over and over using their hands will start to build up a callus, which is simply what? Thicker skin. That thicker skin allows it to do more stress. It handles more stress, literally, of the abrasion of holding scissors, shears, a shovel, weights, etc. So our bodies don't get weaker, they get stronger under more stress. Another thing is just running. I've been trying to build up my cardiovascular capacity lately. Okay, well, in the beginning, it was a struggle to run a mile. But now, 2 miles, 3 miles, and beyond. Not overnight, but the cardiovascular capacity begins to increase so that the same load, the same run, doesn't cause my heart rate to get as high. My aerobic capacity is improving so that I can do the same work at actually less stress, which then enables me to go a little bit longer, a little bit further. And we don't even just look at this in terms of what the human body can do, even though it's absolutely amazing. It actually happens and transfers to our mind too. If every single day you wake up, or even think about it as a kid, and the only chore that you had was to make your bed, well, after a while, making your bed gets pretty easy, pretty mundane. It just becomes a habit. You barely think about it. And then after that, you add on brushing your teeth, and you add on washing your face, and then getting yourself changed. And then all of these things, of course, as a child, it seems like a big deal. As an adult, not such a big deal. It's only because we've been conditioned to then do harder things, more challenging things through our life. We had to go through school. We had to pass tests. We had to study for them. We had to do all those things. Then we get a job. We know the requirements for the job. We work on deadlines. We get work done. And so what I'm sharing with you, it's both the body and the mind that when tested, as long as we don't take it too far, and that's an issue, and I do want to chat about that, is that it'll actually get stronger. And something in Tal Ben-Shahir's work, which I found fascinating, was this, and he was quoting another study, that it was actually working towards worthy ideals and not pursuing happiness that seemed to allow people to become happier. And that those people that pursued happiness for the sake of getting happier lended more towards depression. And I want to share a personal anecdote because I think I was in that spot. I got well. I got well around 2007, working with some great practitioners, especially my Dr. Pete, my mentor. So then I go back to school. I'm getting my degree. I have a successful health, wellness, fitness-based business. Things are going well. I'm married. Life is good, right? But at that point, I had a lot of what I wanted to accomplish in life. I mean, remember, I spent 10 years trying to get well. And of course, anybody who's ever built a business, it's not easy. And it was successful. And I'm going back, I'm getting my degree, I'm doing all the things that I never thought I'd be able to do. And you come to this realization, I'm not saying that I was wealthy by any means or anything, these things, but I was saying, what else is there? Like, am I missing something? Am I supposed to be happier than I am right now? And so part of when I went on many of my internships, I actually there was many hardships on many of those internships, very different than, here in the US when you're over in India and Sri Lanka and old Beijing, China and other places, is that I was living very meagerly. But I began to understand that those people who would go to ashrams, for the sake of going to ashrams and kind of being more of, it's not necessarily a bad thing, but they were becoming more reclusive from the real world, quote unquote, is they did not necessarily seem happier. That if anything, being away from people made them less tolerable when they came back into the real world. And that makes sense looking at this anti-fragile based system. Because the less you do something, the less you're able to tolerate it. Now, I'm not saying we should go around tolerating things that we don't like or we don't enjoy. But when I started studying more of this psychological based process, that we as humans need to choose what we're going to focus on. And those people that focus on the task, that focus on the relationship, the work, the career, the children, the family, the hobby, the spirituality, whatever it is, rather than the outcome of happiness, are much happier. And when they can couple that with understanding that they need to do, right, in order to get, and that needs to be some type of stressor. So they need to get from point A to point B, but that won't happen without some type of challenge, not necessarily a hardship, but a challenge, a worthy ideal to strive for, something to overcome. Those people, once they got there, they understand that, work is challenging, family is challenging, relationships are challenging, spirituality is challenging. Yes, all of these things are. But it's simply because if we want to take our life to the next level, we need to take up a worthy challenge, take up something that's going to push us to be more. And that's going to cause then new calluses, a stronger mindset, maybe better overall physical capacity. But it's going to do so with our benefit in mind, that we're not actually harming ourselves, but if we do it slow enough, over a number of days, weeks, and months, we can actually be, do, and get anything that we want in life. And it's my belief that as we move through this journey, it never ends. That each and every year in our life, we maybe take up a little bit stronger of a task, something more to improve our overall healthiness, something more to move towards in terms of personal growth. I hope that you've set your goals for this year. I also hope that you revisit them and that you say, I am ready for this challenge. I am ready for this next level. You are ready to become anti-fragile at that point. Thanks everybody for tuning into today's show. I appreciate you. I thank you for tuning in. And as always, do feel free to share this show with anyone that you believe it could serve. Take care. Thanks so much for tuning into today's show. Before you go, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. I want to make sure that you're getting our daily content, not missing out on anything functional medicine, wellness, weight gain, weight loss, anti-aging, living longer, stronger, and all of the most cutting-edge research. And if there's any topics you want to hear, feel free to leave them in the comments below. Take care.